Here, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks, Chair.
Where does that rank?
That's the best, no doubt about it. I think it's the best result, best win we've ever had. What a year it's been for Irish rugby, 2018 Grand Slam, winning in Australia and beating New Zealand with missing Conor Murray, Robbie Henshaw, Dan Levy, Sean O'Brien. It's right up there. I thought it was an incredible performance. I was surprised because to go from where they were last week against Argentina, which in some senses it was a perfect performance, I said that, to get it up to that level. And it's Joe Schmidt master plan.
Did we do a little bit of rope-a-dope ourselves? It was like, tell you what, lads, just be very soft around the fringes, let them come at us up the centre, and we'll put some bad film on tape that the All Blacks will be like, that's easy, that's gonna be no problem for us. Because it was chalk and cheese, the difference.
It was a mental thing, you know what I mean? The level of intensity and the adrenaline, the energy that the team had at the weekend was off the Richter scale, and it was hard to get to that level. And emotion in rugby is very important, and it's very hard to have that high emotion every week. It's not feasible at times, and that's when you hear about grinding out results and doing the basics well and staying, resilient and stuff like that. But it was through the roof on Saturday, and the intriguing part for me was they expected to win.
Yeah.
Maybe we didn't all expect it. And that's understandable. It's a nervousness about, New Zealand are going to be better after the English game, and loads of stuff has to go right for us. And we get a little bit of luck at times, but I thought we should have been further ahead at half time. I thought the lack of panic was incredible, even though it wasn't good for the supporters or people watching, because sometimes we kicked the ball away and our kicking game was poor, a couple of lineouts that were really crucial. So I guarantee you Joe Schmidt will look back at the game and he'll point out a load of things that should have been better.
Yeah.
But I thought the effort level, and in my own position as a back rower, I'm a bit biased towards back rowers because I think they can influence games, win, lose. They've so many involvements in games. I thought our back row on Saturday they were so immense. O'Mahony, Stander, and Josh van der Fleer, who was, they were sensational as a unit, and they really got on their faces and they set a real tone from that turnover early on when New Zealand had that pressure on, where Stander and van der Fleer get the turnover. You can see the reaction from the crowd. It gives energy to the players. So there are a lot of big moments, but I spoke to Cian Healy after the game, and I told him, cheer up a little bit. You're just after beating New Zealand. It's the second time in 113 years, and he was there. We expected to win. I don't think he'll mind me saying that, and that's not an insult. He genuinely believed that, if that they're good enough to win these games now. If we were playing New Zealand next Saturday, would we back it up? I think we would. There might be a break in play, but it'd be really intriguing, and that scenario happens in the tests, and in the tour matches where you play 2 or 3 matches. In 2012, we should have won in Christchurch in the second test, and then we were beaten 60-0 the week after. I think if we played them next week again, they'd be probably more nervous now that it'd get very spiky. And
there's an assumption that what we've done is rouse the beast a year out from the World Cup, but what we've also done is put this massive question mark in the heads of New Zealand rugby, that they're not infallible, that they are human, that they make mistakes, that we've put doubt into their team.
Aside from putting doubt into their heads, we've put belief into our mentality that we now have an incredibly consistent, good team who can perform at that level. And some people have said then, are we peaking too early, and is this the same story? Will we fail at the World? That's in the future. You deal in the present, and sports people have to deal in the present. I think everybody outside of the team environment will be talking about World Cups and another Grand Slam, and they'll set their targets about winning a Grand Slam now, and that's fine to believe you can do that and put your targets up on a board and say, this is what we want to achieve, and do that goal setting. And we've got to deal with the here and now, and here and now, they produced a scintillating performance, which could have been better. Some of the execution, some of the mistakes, but they look comfortable, Ger, and that's a really, really good thing. So the monkey, or that banana skin and that monkey on the back scenario, of the World Cup next year. I think they can cope with that because they've now kind of got rid of that All Black scenario. They did in 2016. They've backed it up. So I think the mentality is very, very strong. Joe Schmidt deserves incredible credit for what he's done with the group.
We didn't really talk that much about Wayne Barnes in the aftermath of this game because the penalty count is massively in our favour, but there is a period in the first half where there's 4 or 5 penalties in a row. There's the deliberate knock-on from, is there a Talek who's on the ground? Whitelock.
Yeah, and I had the ref
Not a
link
yellow
on. I'm
card.
listening to the conversation, and to be fair, I thought the warning should have come earlier. But I thought the Whitelock one, even if it's only the second penalty in the game, it's deliberate.
It's an automatic
cynical,
yellow card, isn't it?
And it should have been a yellow card.
And after that is the chip through for the Rob Kearney. So and there's a penalty advantage at that point as well. It's like 3 or 4 penalties that come at that point. So I thought we kind of killed them in that first half, and that in retrospect there should have been a yellow card. And I don't know why Wayne Barnes doesn't penalise.
He needed to yellow card there, and but they didn't panic the players either. You know, Rory Best was having conversations with him. I thought Kieran Reid was kind of following him around every time, questioning all the decisions. But Steve Hansen said it after the game. They were really silly penalties, but they're cynical and they have that in them.
Yeah.
If they're penalised for penalty,
if you get away with it, you're going to get away with it.
They'll back it up with another penalty. And when teams get in their 22 and put any sort of sustainable pressure on them, they'll give away a penalty. There could have been more there, and it sounds, maybe I have the green goggles on here, but the offside line at times was they were shooting up a bit early, and a little bit of execution, and we could have got a try or two in that sustained period, but they managed to cope with that, and they didn't drop their heads. And but the Whitelock one was a definite yellow, and so overall I think the other issue, and I said it on Friday, was maybe more of a contest at a breakdown, and Wayne Barnes tends to kind of not allow a contest very quickly. But, he did fine, I think. But if we'd lost the game, we'd certainly be looking back at that period. It was 9 penalties to New Zealand at one stage, and 1 to Ireland at half-time. 9 penalties to 1. Ireland's discipline was brilliant. And for one of their kickable penalties, they didn't roll away. So it wasn't as if Ireland were being silly and giving away stupid penalties, but New Zealand did. But that's credit to Ireland for the pressure they were putting them under.
When it became clear that Ireland were on song on Saturday night, were you ever really worried at any point?
I was worried in the last 20 minutes, I think. When we lost the line out down on the 5-yard line the second half after the Stockdale try, I thought that was a great opportunity to, even if you don't score there, that you stay there for 5-10 minutes, force something, take a bit more out of their legs. We lost that line out, and then we looked a little bit panicky. We started making a few errors, a few loose kicks, and they had a couple of opportunities. The O'Mahony one where he scooped the ball up. If that bounces, if it runs on another yard, Ben Smith is possibly in for a try. Barrett is close to the line. He offloads it. Kearney gets in there. The Reid one before the try, where he knocks it on. So a little bit of luck there, but I think Ireland created their luck, and and the balance of the game, I think they were unlucky to Ireland on a few occasions. So I was panicky there, no doubt. But that's a natural thing. I think everybody was probably a bit nervous, certainly when we kicked away some balls towards the end of the game.
What are we doing?
Well, Luke McGrath said it, Joey Carberry.
Yeah,
he blamed him straight away, was calling it.
There's the bus.
Well, I had no problem with the kicking, but some of it was inaccurate, and maybe at times there wasn't enough of a chase. And to be fair, the players were tired and fatigued, and New Zealand threw everything at it. They brought on Richie Mo'unga, they put Barrett to full back, they brought on Leonard Brown, they brought on a lot of pace, power and energy, if you like, and Ireland just stayed really connected in defence and defended really intelligently. What I was impressed with is didn't do up and in defence from the outside channel. They went really hard on that 10-12 channel, because I mentioned it the other day about the way Barrett gets off the pushes forward in that attacking line off scrums and lineouts where he takes it really flat. Ireland met that with strong resistance there, and it took away a bit of their impetus and their momentum going forward. So to be fair to Andy Farrell, he deserves a lot of credit for
and
getting that shape and organisation as well.
In fairness, he's getting a lot of it. The New Zealand Herald, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later on, with one of their writers, have pinpointed him because it's the second time that he's come up against the All Blacks with the Lions, obviously, as well, that they haven't scored a try. And I think, to put that feat in perspective, 6 times this century in 243 tests have New Zealand managed to not score a try in a game. Twice are Andy Farrell's defence. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's incredible. And but look, the players have got to do it. He gives them the information and shows them where they attack and where you need to be strong and where you need to really chop that momentum away from them. So the players execute it. But he inspires people as well. So he loves the challenge. He did as a player. And, he would have had the players really buzzing to make those tackles. I thought Stander was, he hasn't been his best season so far, and it's hard to keep the level of performance going. Now, if you look at his stats, he's 22 or 3 carries the other day again, and 16 or 17 tackles.
Yeah.
James Ryan is up there as well.
Carries were better in this game from Stander than they have been.
Yeah, they were, and
it was like
Keane Healy made 14 or 15 carries as well. He was just incredible.
There's a case that James Ryan's the best player in World Rugby.
He is the best second round World Rugby. I said it before the game, and I meant it. I think he is the best second round World Rugby. It's just...
He's got everything.
It's just unbelievable. When there's a defence in front of him, Ger, and he gets a ball, he just... I was with Rog last week watching the Argentina game, and I said, watch his footwork, watch his body shape, watch how he can wriggle through little tight gaps, and the presentation is excellent every time.
Yeah.
He just has a great knack for running onto the ball. Even sometimes when he takes it static, he'll kind of ride a tackle and he'll step to the right or left, and then he has an ability of kind of bending down low and just getting through the tackle. And that, people maybe mightn't see, a big yardage gain, but it's the shape you get to place the ball again after that. And what a player. The tackle I thought himself and Toner put on Retallick was just unbelievable.
And there was
Toner
a pair
went high, and then James Ryan just comes straight through, hip height, drives him back. Psychologically, that works both ways. Lift to Ireland,
and the crowd's
negativity
aflame
for them.
because of it.
And just his work rate around the field is unbelievable.
I just want to bring you this comment, and it's like, normally we wouldn't do this, but Conor Joyce, classic Ireland after winning a game that has the same meaning of an O'Byrne Cup match. This is a country that's never won a knockout game at the World Cup and won't change that next year either.
That negativity is sad for me, and it's a reflection of the person himself, I think. We as rugby people, I passionately support the Irish soccer team. I passionately support my county, Tipperary. I love watching all the sport. Now, I'm speaking for myself here, not for this gentleman. And I love celebrating Irish sporting success, whether it be Padraig Harrington or Rory McIlroy or hockey players in the summer. I find it strange that we look for negativity in an incredible... We're an incredible sporting nation for a small nation, and I understand that some people have a problem maybe with rugby being a bit elitist, but I didn't come from an elitist background. I played club rugby, I captained the Irish Youths, so I'm someone who came through the club system. It's not all about schools. There's loads of people. John Hayes in Bruff didn't start playing rugby till he's 19, so I find it insulting when people say it's all about the schools and it's all about elitism. There's loads of rural places throughout Ireland who are playing rugby, and there's communities who love their rugby and diehards who go in and make the soup and sandwiches, and the women do that. And in my club in Tipperary, and people love their rugby, and it's not all like it is. Of course, there's a relevant point that it's a year out from the World Cup, but this is the second time we've beaten New Zealand, probably the greatest rugby team that's ever been. Not this current team, but as a team, the All Blacks. And we find we're straight away going knock, knock, knock. It's just, it's unbelievable. My best sporting memories as a kid were some rugby ones, but Ray Houghton scoring in '88, Italia '90. There's a lot of different ones that are other sports. Nicky English playing for Tip winning an All-Ireland in '89, '91. I remember all the GA games. I just find it, I have friends who are kind of
A bit like that.
a bit like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's just this guy. There's some soccer guys I know who will go knocking the rugby a little bit. I know rugby has issues and maybe has some elitism there, but I think rugby, soccer, GA, all the sports, and I'm biased towards this, could learn from rugby the way they go out in the communities, the way the job the RFU have done, the way the provinces have united people. In rugby, it has hurt the clubs a little bit, but the way they treat the referees, the way fans can go to matches together, kids can go to matches, the fans mix with each other after games. I know that happens a lot in GA, but soccer is a major issue for that. So kind of going, it's only a friendly. It's not a friendly. They're test matches. We don't have other competitions that we play in rugby at international level that you can play during the year. We have the Six Nations, and I know the World Cup comes around every 4 years. Then you have the test matches. These are November tests. I understand the concept that there's nothing at stake.
Yeah.
Try telling that to the players of any international rugby team.
The New Zealand media and their management team. We're nearly out of time here, but before we go, is Joe Schmidt the next New Zealand manager, coach after this? Is that what happened? Is that what we've seen? Because like Steve Hansen said he's made his mind up and he's going to announce before Christmas. This is all looking like it's all a little bit, the timing is very precipitous for everybody.
Well, would you blame Joe Schmidt? To be fair, he's been 11 years away. He's had this incredible success, and would you blame him to go back and coach New Zealand? No, you wouldn't, and we'd applaud him. So it's looking that it's a possibility. I know there's been no decision made in New Zealand, and I'm not sure. Maybe they've had a chat with Joe and to see would he be interested. It's not. It won't be down to money, because I think the RFU will pay Joe Schmidt what he wants, and he's someone, I think he'll base it on the family decision. So I'm fearful that it's going to happen. That that he may go. I hope I'm wrong. I think it'd be great if he stayed. But I'm fearful that it is going to happen, and for him to go back home and to be able to coach his own national side as well, and start a new kind of project and bring his family back there would be totally understandable. But he's the greatest rugby coach we've ever had, and probably one of our greatest ever sporting coaches as well, for what he's achieved with the team.
There's an assumption that that Andy Farrell is in the pole position, but that maybe Farrell and Lancaster could be reunited again. What's your take on all that?
Yeah, they could be. I'd like to see. I'd love to see O'Gara involved somewhere there, if there was a change, because I think it'd be a great opportunity. He keeps saying to me that he wants to, take a head coach job next, and maybe he's still on that learning curve. But I think it'd be great to see him get back involved. I don't think Leinster would be happy if they were to lose Stuart Lancaster again, but the national team is the number one priority here. So Lancaster, Farrell, it'd be brilliant what Stuart Lancaster has done here with Leinster. But I think if Joe Schmidt left, you then have, not that detail and that knowledge that he's left behind with the other coaches as well, and they bring their own strengths as well. Andy Farrell might do something different, but I think it's a natural kind of succession plan. Yeah. And I think the RFU will be preparing that. They probably know themselves now. So it's not the end of the world if he leaves, that we're just going to collapse, because I think his legacy and what he will leave behind whenever he goes will be phenomenal. And other coaches will have their own ideas. So, but Lancaster and Farrell would be a brilliant mix. Yeah,
because it's on the back of the papers today, and you're like, woof, maybe that's taking a little bit of the gloss off our historic victory, but actually we're in a not bad situation. Where we've just done
the age profile, I know there's a few older players in the team, but the age profile is pretty good. There's a lot of young players there who you think they'll be around for 8-10 years with that team.
Yeah, fingers crossed. All right, Alan, good stuff. Thanks very much.
Pleasure.